Alright, y'all, so let me turn this thing around. So actually I've already done this job. My hands are dirty, but I wanted to come to you before the video now to give you some tips and tricks before you get started on this project. This isn't a real easy thing to do, but it's not super hard either. I'm sure it probably would save you some money. I don't really know still, even after doing this, what the proper procedure is for doing this. I think that it looks like you're supposed to have to pull this motor off, and you probably are, but you don't have to. And it's not that bad. I'm going to walk you through some little tips real quick. Let me lift this seat back up now. Hold on just a second. Now, this is going to be a video about changing the coil pack. So we've got one coil that was misfiring on the other side over there. And my stepdad was, wanting to get it changed out. We went ahead and ordered a couple coils. I guess I can tell you that real quick before you get started. The coils that we ordered. Now this motor is a PS-CH730. It's a Kohler Command Pro 25, and we had to order these coils for it. There's two of them. We actually got lucky, found them on eBay, brand new OEM for half price. I think it's $100 for both. So, we did that. But anyhow, got those in. I've got everything changed out. Like I said, if you'll look at this thing, hey, they got it complicated as heck. This cover has to come off, and there's no way to really get it off. So that's what this video is about, is to guide you. I'll go ahead and tell you some tips. Get you some channel locks. You're going to need a pair of channel locks, the big channel locks. Take this metal bracket right here, and you're going to bend it this way, out of the way. You're going to take this metal bracket and bend it out of the way. Go ahead and do that before you get started. The next tip is to go ahead and get you a 5/8 socket. Take your spark plugs out so that you can turn this engine freely. Put your socket, or put your ratchet to loosening, and put it in this hole back here, and put it on the shaft there, and turn it counterclockwise. Don't rotate your engine clockwise. It's made to rotate counterclockwise. And what I'm telling you that for is, and leave it there. And also the other tip is to take it off before you crank it, because you'll forget and you'll sling that thing around like no tomorrow. Anyways, the other tip is you're going to have to take this cover off. And when I took it off, I don't know what I was thinking, but I had to fight like heck to get that off and that off. These were easy, but the bottom ones, they're really long. So there's plenty of room up here, but not down at the bottom. The tip that I just learned when I was reassembling it, would have been great for disassembling, is to do what I just said. Take that ratchet in the back there and rotate this around, and then bring them up to the top. That makes it so much easier for you. The other tip is, when you get ready to put this piece back in, you'll see when you remove this, there's almost like a little thin gasket, that little metal piece right there. It lines up with the holes. It can turn anyway, so don't worry about that. And there's a loose piece up under here that rotates around also. And when you take this off, that's going to be really loose. And you'll see when you get ready to pull this up, or you pull this off, you'll be able to see what I'm talking about. But you're going to need to line that up with the, there's like a cutout, a little U-shaped cutout. And that cutout is going to line up around the magneto that's on the actual, I guess you'd call that the, dang, why is my brain going stupid? It's not the stator, it's on the flywheel, I guess you'd say. Yeah, on the flywheel. And it's going to hug around the magnet that's on the flywheel, basically. And when you get ready to put it all back together, it's going to move some, so it's going to take some fidgeting to do, and just kind of move those bolts around until you find the holes and they line up, tighten them up, and you're good to go. Other tips that I have for you are, I guess, just get ready for some fun. Like I said, it's not that bad, especially since I've got the video to go along with now. You're going to need a set of feeler gauges. You're going to need, I can't remember what size Allen wrench that you're going to need. You're going to need an 8mm and a 10mm socket. And that's pretty much all you're going to need. So if you get that, I think you'll be good to go. And without further ado, I'm going to start this video. And you guys have fun with it. Take care. What's up, guys? Gonna come to you with another how-to video. Hopefully I can figure this out together with you, but what I have here is a lawnmower engine, actually a Kohler Command Pro 25. It's a horizontal shaft engine, and it's actually got one of the coils is misfired. We've got a test kit and tested it, and one of them is kind of running kind of sluggish, so I know that the coil on the let me just flip around. So I know the coil on the driver's side, I guess it would be if you're sitting on the zero turn, is bad. So we're going to replace it. I've ordered a few of them. There's really no videos from what I can tell online to show us exactly how to get to them. If you're looking to see here, if you look, you've got the coil wire running around up underneath this cover here on the front. I'm used to a vertical shaft engine, so what I'm thinking is I'm going to have to take this carburetor cover off here, take the fuel pump, move it to the side, you know, take the bolts out of it, and then if you lift this flap up here, you'll see there is these bolts here holding this cover on. I know that's got to come off and slide. What I'm hoping for is I can take enough of this stuff off and I can actually slide this forward. But I see there's a metal bracket. If you look down here, let it focus for a second, there's actually a metal bracket here that screw's going to have to come out. So it's going to be a learning process. You may not even have to take these out, but I'm probably going to do it. But what I'm going to do now is do that and kind of show you what's under there. We're going to change this coil out together, and I'll show you part numbers and stuff, and we're going to go ahead and replace both coils today also. So, but anyhow, yeah, so let me start doing that, and I'll come back and tell you exactly what needs to come out and what don't. Look at my hands, I got all dirty. Yeah. All right, I'll holler at y'all. Just real quick so that I don't get too far ahead, I've removed the two the bolts that hold the fuel pump on. That's 10 millimeters. And I'm now moving to the 8mm bolts that are behind it. There's 1, 2, not really sure exactly, let's see, 3, 4, and I believe probably that might be all, but I'm going to take those out next, so that's what I'm working on now. I'd hold the phone and do it, but just don't know if I can. See, I actually messed my extension up too, so I'm having to fight with this thing being right on top, but yeah, nah, I'm not going to be able to do this on the camera here. So yeah, I'm going to take these out. I'll come back and let you know the next step. Alright, so I got the 4 8mm bolts out. Actually, I'm shocked, but it's actually loose already now at the top. You look and see. You can't really tell, but it's loose. So the only thing I'm assuming holding it now, and also I think I'm going to have to take this hose off, get it out the way, because this is probably going to have to come up, and I'm afraid that hose is going to hit. Maybe not, I'll try to leave it, and that way you don't have to do it if not. But looks like now I'm going to have to take off, I'm assuming, you know what, that cover may slide down behind here. Let's see. Nope, that has to come off. So yeah, let's see. I'm not so sure that, I don't know, I gotta figure this out, because this is actually attached around this shaft, and surely you don't have to pull the whole engine off to get that out. I think I'm gonna take these bolts loose and pull this forward and hope that this piece is slotted so that it pulls up over that shaft. That's what I'm hoping for. And it don't feel like it is. That would make too much sense. But anyhow, I'm going to take out now this screw behind this flap that I talked about before. I'm going to take all 4 of these bolts out, and I'm going to try to see if I can get it to move. If I can at least get it to come forward, that should give me enough access to the coils. So we're going to give that a shot now. Alright, so looking from the driver's side here, still don't know if this is going to be possible. It honestly looks like you're supposed to have to pull this motor to do this job, but alright, looking under the flap here, I've removed those screws. Be careful, there's a piece back here. Well, just not be careful, but you have to line this back up with the bolts. As you do this, it's going to be really fun. Put this back together. You've got this piece here that's loose up under the bottom. So apparently, that probably is going to have to stay. It doesn't come out from what it appears. Let me see. Let me wiggle it around. Yeah, I mean, you can't get it out past the cover, so it's got to stay in there. So what I'm hoping for is once I get these other 2 bolts that I'm going to show you now that I found that are secretly hiding. Oh, and I've removed the little Phillips head screw that was there holding on that metal bracket. If you come over here and look, looking from the driver's side, this is the exhaust. You come down and look under the bottom by the starter here. You'll see just right there in front of the battery cable. See that one back there on the top? That's one. And if you look down a little bit lower, there's another one right right down there on the cover by the frame. those 2 bolts have to be removed. So basically one on top of the starter and one on the bottom. I'm going to remove those now and see what happens. Alright, so a little progress there, but now it's stuck on the other side. This is back to the passenger side. Looks like they're using the bolts to hold the voltage regulator. There's one, let me dim this light down some, 1, 2, and 3 behind there. That looks like it may be holding that cover to the frame itself. So got to unplug the voltage regulator here and get it out of the way, take those 3 bolts out, and hopefully that should allow this thing to move past that rubber flap there. So I'm gonna give it a shot. A little something worth noting here. Voltage regulator is, there's no clips or anything that hold it. If you'll just take your pocket knife and put it right here and kind of give it a twist between that and the actual frame of the cover, it'll pop off on one side, and you can do the same thing. Just kind of put it in there and just give it a twist and it'll pop it off. Alright, so it definitely is not wanting to come. Remember the little metal bracket down here on the bottom, on the passenger side? I just took it and just folded it backwards. You've got 2 more brackets on the frame of the mower that are really keeping this cover from wanting to move, which is this one and this one. If they weren't there, it would move. So I'm actually contemplating just taking the channel locks and just bending it backwards and then just straightening it back out. So that'll allow that cover to slide on off. As you can see, I can see the coil down in there. If it'll focus for you, but anyhow, I can't do anything with it obviously right now. There's the coil right there, but I can't get to it and actually work with it until I get that cover out of my way. So that's what I'm going to do next. I'm going to take the channel locks and bend those 2 metal flanges back and just kind of pull that cover back. And maybe I can turn everything by hand then to may have to remove the spark plugs and put a socket on the back, turn it counterclockwise so that I can rotate it around to actually set the gap on it. But yeah, that's where I'm at now. So I'm gonna do that next. So yeah, that worked great. I've got the little flanges bent back. Now this is on an exmark. If this motor's on another engine, on another mower, you probably won't have this problem. But this is actually an exmark. It's a lazerZ or something. But anyhow, as you can see now, I can actually get to the coils pretty dang easy. So I can go in there now and take the flap and set the gap and stuff like that. So I'm gonna do that next. I got to look it up and see what it's supposed to be. If not, I may have to just use an index card. But I'm gonna work on removing the spark plugs and turning this around and setting the gap. I'll tell you what they are, and we'll see how this turns out. Make sure this is as easy as I hope it's going to be anyways. So alright, come back in a minute. Alright, before I forget, it's 0.011 to 0.013 inches that you set the gap of for the this is actually the PS-CH730 engine. So what I've done now is remove the spark plugs on both sides. 5/8 socket's what you'll need for that, and you'll take a 5/8 socket stick here, and I watched it as we turned it the other day. It's going to turn counterclockwise, so I'll stick that on there, and then I can turn it as I try to set the gap of the new one. It would probably be easier with 2 people here, but it's just me right now. So, but that's what you have to do, and the rest is pretty much self-explanatory. It looks like there's 2 bolts that are Allen wrenches that hold this. Of course they would be Allen wrenches. Why would they not use Allen wrenches? But anyways, there's 2 Allen wrench bolts that hold this in. So just take them out, rotate the flywheel around till you get it lined up with the magnets, and set your gap, and then obviously lock it back down, test it twice, make sure it's good, put everything back together. We'll do that now, and I'll tell you if I have any complications. Real quick while I'm at it here, it looks like that's a 4.5, well, I can't tell if it's a 4 or 4.5 millimeter Allen wrench that I'm using. It may be a standard, but I can't find my standards right now at the moment. So anyway, so enjoy getting your hands completely cut all up with the cover and stuff. That feels amazing. It's not cutting it, but it's dang sure scratching it up pretty good. And also get prepared to drop the Allen wrench a few times and have to reach your arm way down in the bottom there and pick it up. But yeah, it's coming off though. Nonetheless, I've got one bolt out already. I'm working on the next one. The problem with it is this bottom one that I'm working on, the one closest to the wheel, you can't continue to rotate the Allen wrench like you could the top one because there's a piece of something in there blocking it. So, but yeah, but I've got the last bolt coming out now. I've actually got it loose enough now with my fingers here, so that's good. But there it is. It's hanging now by the cords. Unhook it and do the next side. Real quick comparison here. The ones that we've ordered for this is the coil number. Sorry, I'm shaking. I'm trying to hold the coils in this at the same time. But comparing them to each other, they look exactly alike. So I think we're good. And actually, they gave me some bolts in the box that appear to be the same as these Allen wrenches, but they're actually socket head. So maybe they want you to change out to that. I don't know, but I'm thinking to do this process, you probably want the Allen head anyway, so I'm going to keep those, I think. Alright, so I got one side done. I'm on to the next. I've learned one thing when coming to this side. Somebody used that German torque on these. They're that good and tight, you know? That good and tight torque. But my metric wrench that I was using, or Allen wrench, wasn't working. It started trying to strip. It's, let me see if I can tell you what size this is. It's not on the Allen wrench itself, I don't believe. No, oh, good old fancy Harbor Freight this. It looks like this one's probably going to be I think it would fit this gap right here. So maybe a 7/64 or either a 1/8. It's one of those two. But anyhow, everything's going pretty smooth. Haven't really had any problems, so I'm fixing to install the last one, hopefully, and put everything back together. And we'll see how this thing runs. One more thing, too, I got it on my mind. These feeler gauges are this is a standard set. They're really not long enough to, well, they probably are, but when they're inside the mower, it's hard to get your feeler gauges in like this. If you can, that's great. And that would be the best thing. You can lock them both down at one time. I wasn't able to on the other side. I think I might be able to on this side, but if not, you know the deal. Just try to slide it under one end and tighten it down, and then try to, you know, wedge it up underneath the other end and tighten it down, and make a couple passes and make sure it's still, you know, you can still fit this under there and you're good. But y'all, I chose to go with a .012. It was between, you know, what everything else was that they recommended, so that's usually what I do, just go for the middle. But anyhow, I just want to throw that out there. I'm going to get this one set now. I've got the bolts started, and I'm going to go ahead and rotate this motor around. I'm assuming you guys know how to do this. If not, basically there's a piece on the flywheel. I don't know that I can zoom in good enough for you to see it. Crap. Well, either way, let me just explain to this real quick for dummy terms. You got a piece, just say this is rotating around, and just say there's a piece like this that's only on one side of the flywheel. Well, as you rotate around, it's going to come around, and when it does, this is a magnet, and it's got to meet, you know, up with that. But these feeler gauges have to go in between that piece. You'll see it. It's pretty obvious when you get there, and you'll know it because it'll. If you don't have this tightened down and you don't have this feeler gauge on it, it's going to pull it down real hard to it, and you're going to have to pull it off of there. But you have to set the gap right. If you don't have feeler gauges, you can use a index card, is what most people use. So, and that should probably be fine. But that's just a little rundown there of how this is supposed to go. But I'm gonna do that now and get it tightened down. Sorry I don't have a camera on my head or in my eyeballs, but I just got to do it this way. Alright, so the last video I told you was completely false, unless I don't even add that video. That moon-shaped piece that's cut out in the flywheel, or in the plastic piece, goes around the actual magneto, the piece that the coils stick to. Otherwise, you can't get it to go back far enough for it to actually, the bolts to be long enough to reach that go in from the front. So there you have it. Alright, so I realized while I was editing this video on this little free app on my phone that you guys probably aren't going to understand what I'm talking about in this part, so I'm just going to tell you real quick. The little plastic fin piece that rotates in there when you're at this step, it's got like a U-shaped piece. I keep saying moon shape, but it's actually a U-shaped piece cut out. and that U-shaped piece is actually going to just go around the magneto, the little magnet part that I talk about that it sticks down to. That's what that's going to be. So I just wanted to come in real quick before you watch this next clip and tell you that's what I'm talking about, so you're not like, what the heck is he saying? And originally I had another clip before this that was showing me, and I misguided you the wrong way. So I just took that out of there. So I just wanted to give a little brief explanation, and now I can roll with the next clip. Alright, so the last video I told you was completely false, unless I don't even add that video. That moon-shaped piece that's cut out in the flywheel, or in the plastic piece, goes around the actual magneto, the piece that the coils stick to. Otherwise, you can't get it to go back far enough for it to actually, the bolts to be long enough to reach that go in from the front. So there you have it. And now I realize that I didn't show you anything after the step, which kind of left you guys hanging, and I apologize for that. Basically, all you're going to do is now you're going to just start putting everything back together. You're going to, as long as you line that U-shaped piece up like I said before, you'll be okay. What I was running into was I didn't have that thing turned right. So as I went to put the long bolts that you pulled out in the beginning on the little piece that you can spin on the outside, when I went to do that, they wouldn't go in far enough, and it's because it wasn't seating down properly. So you shouldn't have any problems. Everything's pretty much straightforward from here. You just, take it. It's a little finicky because you've got to line that little 4-hole gasket up along with that plastic piece, along with the metal screen looking cover on the front, and get it all right. But it's okay. Just take your time and kind of get the bolts where they need to be from when you're, when you have the cover pulled back where you can see. And try not to move a lot of stuff. Go ahead and run your one bolt and just kind of wiggle it around until you find one hole, and then hit the second hole and you're good to go. Everything else is pretty much straightforward. You just take everything, put it all back together the way that it came off, and I think you should be good. There's nothing else that was really all that complicated. Everything was just easy. I'm trying to think if there was anything that you, again, don't forget to take that to take your ratchet out of the back of that engine. You don't want to crank that thing over and it sling that thing out or something, so make sure you don't do that. But other than that, I think everything's good. So I'm gonna let you watch the final 1 or 2 clips of this or whatever it is. And I'm sorry, I'm just not a great video editor. It's just so much easier just to find you a $5 app on your phone to do this editing. But anyways, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Well, I don't need to say that because I say that a million times in this video. Roll the next clip. Alright everybody, got it all put back together. She's running. I'd call that a success. We're going to make a little quick video now to put at the beginning of this video to tell you some tips and tricks I do. But I hope this made everybody else's life easier. Maybe it's something you can follow along with. It's always good to have a video online to kind of help you, just so in case even if you forget the way something was turned or something like that. But again, if there's anything I can do to help y'all, as always, just reach out to me, and I appreciate you tuning into my channel, and maybe I can make some more videos like this in the future. It's a little pain in the butt, but it's alright, it's okay. That's what it's all about, One day I'll watch this video and it'll probably help me out myself. So, again, thank y'all again for watching my video, and until next time, y'all be safe out there.